here and lie down, Lucas. To say all that takes guts. As difficult as it was to do, so much easier will it be from now on. You can't dislodge deep-seated, sensitive feelings without hurting. You'll feel better shortly. Yeah, take this. It'll help you relax. Now just rest for a bit. We'll talk about it later when you feel easier. You'll feel much better when you wake up. I'll be back. Now let's get some things straight. It took a lot out of Lucas to tell that story. He's a better man for doing it. Every one of you must go through a similar realization of what lies behind symptoms, regardless of what they are. Irritability, bad dreams, vomiting. No matter where you fought, on land, in the air, or on a ship or a sub. You have to face those memories, get them out in the open, exactly as Lucas has done. Now let's consider the whole problem. But first, Clemens, you see now why Lucas got so hot and bothered about a rabbit of all things?
Well, maybe.
The moment he raised his gun, the rabbit seemed to disappear, and he saw his mates again, drowning, dying in the water all around him.
Sure, it's just like that feeling that I got when I watched my buddy die.
That's it. What are the simple basic facts? It's quite clear from what we know of Lucas that he was a happy man before this whole business started. The sort of a fellow who might run a successful garage or store. Liked, well thought of in his hometown. He wasn't irritable, bad-tempered, with a chip on his shoulder. Quite the contrary. He was easy to meet, easy to know, a good guy. Then what? For 18 months he's at sea. There's nothing unusual about that. Thousands of men have done as much or more. But Lucas is tied down to valves. He's never completely a part of the crew. He doesn't feel that he and the gunners and the ship's cooks and the boys in CIC are all one. No, he feels that he's just a little apart, just a little special, wanting to, well, what? Wanting to hurl himself at a Jap whom he'll surely kill, wanting to shoot down a plane, wanting to do anything except stay where he is and do his job in keeping the ship going and fighting. Because he can't do what he thinks he wants to do, or what he thinks he ought to do, he gets all tied up in knots. At the same time, he's scared. Scared just as you and every other man is scared when your lives are at stake. But Lucas wants his own kind of personal release for that fear. He doesn't realize that the torpedomen and the gunners, the bridge, and he himself all have to work together to bring down that Jap plane, to blow up that Jap DD. It isn't a one-man job, and one man can't get rid of his fear at the expense of others, especially when they're all in the same boat. This wanting to do something that isn't his job is his manner of running away, only he can't. The ship and his conscience both have him tied down to those valves. Then fate steps in and gives him what he wants. As a result, he's happy, safe in the water, blown out of his problem. And then he sees the crew, his buddies, burning, drowning, dying. And he feels that his safety is somehow a part of their misery, their deaths. He feels that because deep down he did want to escape, he is therefore, in a way, responsible for their predicament. There you have the facts. But what can Lucas do about them? What's done is done. He can't erase that. What he should do is to accept these feelings, understand them and discipline them. But he doesn't. Instead, he becomes touchy, fed up, confused and mean. Well, look what happened to him. When he first returned, he didn't seem different, calm on the surface. Nobody could tell that something was gnawing at him, fighting inside. But as the days went on, so did his fighting. He got worse and worse. Then, when he got home on leave, he lashed out at those he loved because they reminded him of his feeling of guilt, of unworthiness, by asking him simple, natural questions about his experiences. He fought against and left the girl he loved. And I'm sure you all realize that he still loves her because he felt that she no longer understood him. Well, how could she? She only knew him by what he said and did. Why, he didn't even understand himself. What you have just witnessed has changed him, started him toward a real understanding. He can now realize that all that disconnected, fed-up feeling, which showed itself as a fighting bad temper, comes from something underneath, from a feeling of guilt, a feeling of unworthiness, a feeling which he twisted about so that it looked as though everyone else were in the wrong. Everyone but Lucas himself. That's why we have these group discussions, to help you and Lucas see yourselves as others see you, and to see problems like yours that other men have. Furthermore, you and Lucas can now put your new knowledge to use in a variety of constructive ways. Occupational therapy will provide Lucas with a profitable physical outlet for his feelings. It will teach him that he can work while solving his problems and do a better job of both. And physical training will help keep him in shape in the meanwhile. What goes for Lucas goes for you. For your irritation is only a symptom of feelings which you buried or tried to deny. Like insomnia, or being depressed or sulky, or believing that you're no good. Bad temper is a sign of something deeper, something which has to be faced and understood and worked out. When you can do with your problems what Lucas has done with his, you will be free of all your symptoms.